Hello and welcome back to Mellohi, a DSMP podcast. This is episode 26 and today we'll be discussing some recent lore along with Sam's Bank. As always, we refer to the characters by name and specify when we're talking about the writers, and we also try to focus more on analysis. Alright, we're back, and a lot of stuff has happened recently. We finally have new lore to talk about that isn't covered in like 5 minutes.
We have, a lot of stuff happened. If you guys haven't or missed it, watched it. Boomer and Hannah did a little bit of a lore trade, and it has a lot of Sam lore involved too. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I managed to watch it like 30 minutes ago.
Like, what is up with Sam? Because he is a really interesting character.
The multiple bodies thing.
And obviously
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. And that's really interesting. So, we know that the body that Boomer talked to, specifically he said that he didn't feel any life in it, which is interesting for his own character, but it also means that we know there must be a body that does have life in it. Mm-hmm. I don't think this is a kind of a thing where he's split between bodies. It's either a situation where there's one main body that controls the other one, and that's the one that has life in it, or there might be a main consciousness, but he might be able to program actions into bodies that he's not currently in, so they don't just do nothing while the main consciousness isn't inhabiting them.
I mean, there are some things we do know about, that at least one of his bodies is made of flesh, unless they retconned the whole self-cannibalism thing when he was stuck with the egg, and that Sam Nook does not seem to share his memory pool that he seems to have going on with all his other Sams, because you know how, so after Boomer found Sam in the swamp, Boomer heads back to the main SMP, and Sam meets him there with, presumably a new or a different body, and Boomer makes a comment about, well, I can't move as fast as you because I don't have the extra bodies to just jump around in. Something like that, along those lines. Not necessarily those words, I'm paraphrasing. But that implies that all the Sam bodies share either the same memory or the same consciousness. But Sam Nook, very notably, doesn't. We know that Sam...
We also know that we've got minimum of 3 Sam bodies. We've got the body that Boomer found in the swamp. We have the body that met him at the bank. And you've got the body that runs the prison.
Yeah. But Sam Nook does not seem to be part of that equation, because when Tommy dies in the prison, Sam specifically asks other people not to tell Sam Nook about what happened. And Sam Nook continued on behaving as though Tommy was alive. So obviously he did not know that Tommy's died at that point. So they don't share the same memories or the same consciousness.
Unless it's a case of like extreme like compartmentalization, where he's specifically using the sort of Sam Nook persona to pretend that nothing is wrong.
I want to say that Sam Nook isn't part of the whole awesome Sam hive mind that's going on right now. Because of just in general, his behavior and the way he acts is like very, very different, and Sam treats it like a robot, not a person. Although, when I think it was when Pun said he loved Sam Nook, sorry, and Sam's like, why would you do that? It's just a robot.
Yeah. Same with, I think it was Tommy left flowers, or someone left flowers for Sam Nook. I'm almost positive it was Tommy. And then Sam was like, what? Who would do that? Like, Sam Nook's a robot. So he said it multiple times.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a thing of, like, Sam, like, okay, the weirdest thing when watching it was, number one, what the hell was that in the swamp? Also, he very much was like, this is all, like, very secret. He's like, you can't tell anybody about this body. You can't tell anybody about... And then Boomer, like, runs out of the portal, and he's like... And Sam's like, what took you so long? And Boomer's, says... He's like, well, not all of us have, multiple bodies. And Sam's like, not so loud. And I'm like, well, why the hell is it, like, a secret? So, I don't know. It feels more like somehow... It feels more AI-ish, but almost like somehow this dude figured out how to, like, pull some neural link shit. I don't know. Some, like, Elon Musk style, like, upload like consciousness into like different bodies to do different tasks and different work, but the main one is just like him. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen those
the multiple body thing also brings into question canon lives. My personal way of interpreting it, until we have something different, is that the main body, which is the original, has 3 canon lives.
Yeah.
Each of the other bodies will effectively die if destroyed, but will also probably cease to function if the main body loses all canon lives.
That'd probably be the make most sense, is like if he loses all 3 canon lives in the original body, then like all the other ones cease to basically function.
If it is more of a hive mind situation, then it could be that each body represents a canon life, and if all of them are killed, that's when he permanently dies.
Not necessarily.
Hive
minds tend to have a central unit, right? A queen.
I think it's more like a computer, because Sam is so like into that stuff, where it's like, so basically he's uploaded these different like almost these different links to like other things, and like you can sever the link to like the outer ones, but if you like take out the CPU, then like the whole thing's bust. That seems more likely, because I feel like there's almost like more fear of him, like he's like more afraid of like the other bodies. He was like, you know, the swamp body, or like the one that was in the swamp, he was like, you know, you can't tell anybody about this body here. And then like, you know, the one where he's like wearing all the armor, like I have no idea if that's his original body or not. I'm going to assume maybe not, or maybe it is, and that's why he's always in armor with the sword out. I don't know. And you know, he's like don't tell anyone, like it just feels almost like he's put so much work into these like bodies that he's afraid that people are gonna go and fuck them up or something, or like kill them, but he won't necessarily die.
I mean,
he's just shit
wrong.
Out of luck and has to like remake all of them or something, or maybe it's tied to some god lore. I don't know. Maybe somehow Dream XD is involved and made him these bodies. I don't knowing the Dream SMP, it's gonna be some shit where it's tied to like Boomer's past, because that was like a whole emphasis where he's like, Hannah's like, you guys only met 3 days ago, right? And then Boomer was like, long pause. Like, we only met 3 days ago. And Sam was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. Bit weird. And there was something about, like, redstone going on there. Like, some kind of, like, side clip about how, like, they're both redstone guys or something. Like, we're like, I was like, wait, so is it gonna come out that Boomer, like, helped, like, Sam make the bodies, but he can't remember? I was like, what the fuck is this lore, guys? This is too deep. Like, stop. I don't know.
Okay, but the part where Hannah's just like, you guys only met 2 days ago, and then Sam and Boom are just badly lying.
You're like,
about,
no.
We only met a couple.
Hannah's like, what the hell?
We totally don't have some secret history together or anything.
Also, Boomer, like, instantly, like, trusting Sam to, like, a degree that feels unnatural.
Also, Boomer has some weird timeline stuff going on. He specifically referred to where he is as in this time. I think he said that his writer Boomer has said that his character isn't a time traveler, but that doesn't rule out the fact that he could have come from another timeline or something along the lines of that.
Didn't he say he was a dimension traveler?
Or even the fact that he might have time traveled but cannot time travel by himself.
I thought he was a dimensional traveler, and that was the difference. But maybe, I don't know, someone was like talking about that somewhere. I don't know if that was like a headcanon or not. The one thing that was weird is Sam, in that library, pulls a book down from a shelf and is like, he gives it to Boomer, and it's literally like Boomer's backstory or something, and I was like, what the fuck? And then it just brushed right over, and I'm like, okay, moving on to the next bit. Alright. I mean, to be fair, that's kind of how you get to write lore, to like make it a mystery. If you just tell everybody up front, it's like, you know, who's gonna keep watching? I'm just, like, curious how the bank's gonna go, because, like, you got Hannah, who, like, Sam...
Hannah's
it's
jealous.
finally getting built.
Oh my god, it's finally getting built. Seeing it in the stream was surreal. I was like, this bank has been hyped up so fucking much, and here it finally is, like, half built. And I'm like, beautiful.
It's so funny that they include it in the lore and it's still half built.
I mean, it's just, that's Awesamdude construction, you know? That's just how it is. They got some long wait times there. For a 1-star rating. It's only one dude who builds the stuff. He makes kids go get his supplies. Doesn't make any sense. It's like, Oh my god. I don't know.
He has all these bodies and he can't seem to get anything done with them.
It's like, damn, bro. It's the most Animal Crossing thing
That's a
ever.
move.
It's like, actually, you go get all this stuff, and I will stand here and tell you how many bells it's gonna cost. It's like, okay. I don't know, I'm just like... Because we've already established, like, Hannah, like, he doesn't trust Hannah because of what happened at the Red banquet. And he brought that up, and then Hannah was like, it's in the past, which is fair. Like, you know, if she's changed, she's changed. Like,
Yeah.
if she's lying, whatever. We don't know. But the weirdest thing was her being like, you know, these things happen. It's happened before. Like, you know, it's like, you know, and I was like, Hannah, what the hell do you mean it's happened before? How many times have you, like, been possessed by a different entity and then betrayed somebody? I'm actually, like, concerned.
Concerned?
Yeah. I was like, holy shit. There was little Hannah lore tidbits in that little, it wasn't even that long of a stream. It was kind of short, but there was a lot. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I want to say that she was referring to killing people.
Oh.
Okay, so here... Yeah, but here's also the funny thing, is that Sam keeps saying, you killed people, Hannah. She didn't kill jack shit.
Yeah, Sam's always just, like, jumping to, like, some conclusion that never really happened. Like, that's why I'm always like, Sam, like, why... He loves to exaggerate.
This is why we squint when he says that it was Dream who decided to make it the prison so much worse.
Yeah, I'm like, that's why...
This is why we are squinting.
This is why I'm like, you know, Sam might see it that way, but, like, I mean, it's a fucking prison. Like, I don't know. He, like... Sam is ultimately the warden. He could just decide not to do those things. It's not like Dream sitting there, like, you know, gun to his head, being like, you must feed me.
Hey, make the conditions worse for me, Fudge.
Yeah, like, what? Like, people have the argument of, like, well, Dream designed it that way, and I'm like, okay, but you see the problem here. I'm like, why would Sam, like, continue to you know, have a shitty prison design if that was the intention, when he could easily just fucking change it and, like, make it better? I mean,
it's like if a guy tells another guy, hey, go murder that person, but has, like, no way of, like, making a person do it, and they go and murder that person, and when they're told, like, ask, like, why did you murder that person, they go and say, oh, well, that guy told me to, and they're like, oh, did he force you? Did he offer you money? Did he threatened to kill your entire family if you didn't kill him? And he's like, no, he just told me and I didn't like the guy, so I killed him. That's what Sam was like.
Just killed him, you know. I don't know. Like, that's a good point, because it's like, it just feels strange. Like, people love making the argument, but I'm always like, I don't know, man. It would be like locking up a prison architect in their own prison, and then, like, let's say the prison architect explicitly, for some reason, somehow said, only feed your prisoners once a day, never let them out into, like, the courtyard, like, or the, like, you know, the yard, and, like, never allow them time out of the cell to, like, you know, mingle and talk. And then, like, you just did that shit to the prison architect, even though, like, you could just easily change it. Like, it's just, it doesn't make any sense. Like, and if you want to go, I mean, let's say, like, it's not even the prison architect, it's just the person who owns the prison. Like, I don't know. Like, at some point, you're making the decision to make it worse, or you're making the decision to keep it as bad as it is, and it's like, Sam wants to be like, but this was all a dream, but it's like, at some point, bro, like, what if somebody else got locked up in here? Would you be just as much of a bitch? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Dream is not forcing you to do it.
But yeah.
Like, Dream paid you, like, over a stack of diamond bucks to do it, but, like, he's not paying you right now.
It's like, damn, dude,
No, it was to you to change the conditions to fit how you wanted, except for the fact you don't actually want to change anything. Although, actually, this kind of brings up something interesting I was thinking about recently, which is the general sort of image a lot of people have of character Dream, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of the time it does not line up with the reality of his character, and there's this whole thing where, I'm not sure we've talked about this before, but he essentially presents himself as more villainous and evil than he really is to Tommy, as a way of, like, intimidating and manipulating him. And a lot of people miss that because they mostly watch him from Tommy's perspective.
They don't see the dream from everywhere else.
He's not even like scared.
They mostly see him when he's around Tommy, when he's deliberately acting evil for his own purposes. But one of the main things, a big thing that goes around against that specific person, is the fact that Dream willingly let Sam keep secrets about the prison from him. And we go with the usual, like, more common sort of 100% evil, control freak Dream interpretation. That doesn't make any sense at all, because you'd think that he would want to have complete control over the prison, but he's willing to let Sam keep secrets from him because he believes that the prison should be secure.
People have some whack interpretations.
Yeah. I think, like, I don't know. People, like, tend to, like, they'll always have interpretation, and, like, up until some point, it, like, sounds good. Especially the ones that's, like, you know, he is, like, the perfect villain. You know, he plays it up. He, like... And then at some point, you get to a part where you're like, it doesn't fit anymore. Like, it just doesn't. And I'm always of the interpretation of, like, he's just a guy. And that makes it even, like... That makes it even almost, like, worse, because, like...
Like I said, I think a lot of it comes from people only watching him either from Tommy's perspective or from perspectives where you don't really see him when Tommy isn't around, like Tubbo's.
That's like typically where like, or people are hearing about Exile from somebody who wrote a like analysis thread, or maybe made a fanfic or some kind of like, I don't know, a poem or something, and you know you can at that point sit there and put all of like, you know, the writing that like you want into that, making the situation,
I actually think a big issue with how the fandom treats Exile is like, most of those streams were like really, really light-hearted. Like even the darker ones, even the ones that have some of the darker moments in them, are often really light-hearted for most of it. It's just a few dark moments that stand out.
Yeah.
But those dark moments are all people talk about it, so it makes it seem like all of Exile was like that.
If you go
when really it was just a few small parts among the more...
No, I'll listen to the ASMR of Exile
pretty much
sometimes.
All of Exile Arc Live. And I noticed this stuff because when I was watching Exile Arc, I was excited whenever Dream would show up, and I'd be like looking forward to him because I like seeing him go and be evil. I very much enjoy that. So I noticed how little Dream being evil we were getting, essentially. Because it was just a ton of shenanigans, and I'd be like, come on, do something evil already. I'd be like, oh, he's blown up his stuff. He's already done his, like, evil quota for today. Now they're just gonna go and talk about, like, K-pop.
Yeah, I mean,
it's really funny.
Like...
Because it's like... Exile Arc is the origin of Stripper Dream.
Yeah.
Okay? Exile Arc...
And also people do tend to forget, because they focus on the dark points, they forget, like, everyone who actually visited Tommy and gave him, like, gifts and stuff, because they're only focusing on the dark parts.
I won't deny that, like...
Like, yeah, those dark parts are an important part of Exile Arc, but they're not all of it. If you want to understand Exile Arc, you have to acknowledge every part of it, not just the parts that make for good angsty fanfiction.
Like, I will not deny the fact that, like, when I was watching Exile Arc, I was exclusively only watching Tommy's point of view at that point, because that's pretty much how I started watching the Dream SMP. And so my heart, like, genuinely did drop whenever, like, Dream would log on, but that was the point, right? Like, they basically trained you to think like that, like, the you know, but it really did feel like Tommy had these, like, certain parts, like, written, and then everything else was just improv. So it was basically, like, a script. Like, people tried to be like, oh, it's, like... I mean, I don't personally like the takes of, like, it's masterfully written, because it's not. And that doesn't mean that it's bad. Like, Exile Arc isn't bad.
It doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that it's what it is. It's a
not,
teenager
like, excellent.
And a 21-year-old.
It's, like...
It's a 16-year-old and a 21-year-old doing a role play with their OCs.
Yeah. And, like, you do genuinely feel bad for Tommy at times, like, depending on who you are, right? You don't have to, like, but, it's like any other media. It's like if I tuned into, like, I don't know, like, some Netflix original, and suddenly, like, they're going from, like, talking about dick jokes to, like, some kids up on a pillar contemplating suicide. I was like, holy shit, how did we fucking get here? But, like, it, like, fits the Dream SMP because it is so chaotic and almost improv and, like, just kind of that whiplash. But that doesn't mean it's, like, people will be like, oh my god, it was the best thing ever on the recipe. It was the best arc ever. Bro, just because it had, like, Tommy getting super duper traumatized doesn't make it the best arc. It just means that it's going to inform Tommy's character for the rest of fucking time. And apparently the whole Dream SMP, because nobody, like, everybody just keeps talking about, like, everything goes back to Exile Arc. I mean, here we are, we're talking about Exile Arc on the podcast when we started out with Hannah and Sam. Like, everything at this point goes back to Exile Arc more than it fucking does, like, L'Manberg itself. It's so odd. It's just strange at this point. Like, I'm just...
I mean, to be fair, we're complaining
it's been
about
almost a year, like,
constantly.
There's other arcs going on. Like, can we please talk about this
I'm waiting
again?
for the Empire arc to just...
Like, I'm here waiting for our egg arc to start up again so I can start posting egg apologies on
I want that egg arc.
I want to see what happened with Bad. Where did he go afterwards? What was
I want to make posts arguing that the egg should murder everyone.
I miss the egg. That's just, like, bottom line. Like... I thought it was gonna be this grand evil that was gonna slash kill everybody at the banquet. I thought Technoblade, like, not that I want him to take an L. I mean, my man's already had a lot happen to him, but I just thought he was, like, actually gonna be like, oh wait, holy shit, you know, this is kind of, guys, this is kind of bad. Like, I want him to be like, whoa, you know, actually, this is pretty fucked up. But it turned, like, you know, the banquet itself happened, and everyone just kind of, like, forgot about pretty much all of it.
I do personally, I've mentioned it before, I'm pretty sure, I've got a theory that there's some aspect of the next egg stream that's linked to Dream being out of prison.
That'd be cool.
Like, there's some plan that they have that requires both of those to happen, and because there's been
such a
delay in the prison arc because of Techno having personal issues, it means that the egg arc has also been delayed a lot more than it was originally intended to be.
I mean,
As that's my theory, Fred. I could be completely off and they both just individually got delayed for different reasons.
Spot on.
But it's what makes sense to me.
If Techno is integral to it, then they'd want him to be like, you know, like, it is, from personal experience, not like specifically with chemo, but like a bunch of other shit, like, it is hard as fuck to do that kind of shit if you feel terrible. Like, it's hard. And so I really do hope they, like, wait the amount of time it takes, you know, to, like, have, like, even if it takes fucking another year, I don't care. Like, I'll be here.
But, like, here's just an example from, like, my own life. Last month, I was doing October, and I was, like, writing a fic every day.
Yeah, that's hard.
But, like, halfway through October, I got this really bad ear infection. Like, I was throwing up and everything. And I managed to get, like, at least 100 words every day, because I'm very stubborn. But it was very difficult to write anything just because my energy was so low from having to deal with having an ear infection that really messed me up.
Are you feeling better? I hope you're feeling better. Not to, I mean...
yeah, I've been fine for like 2 weeks now. It's good.
No, it is, like, being sick is rough as shit. It's shit, and I hope that, like, you know, I see Sam, you know, content creator Sam talks about being sick a lot, and he, like, you know, got a bunch of, like, tests and stuff, and I hope that, like, you know, he gets good news and shit. Like, not to be like, you know, talking about that stuff, but it's like, it's integral to the interest in Dream SMP as it stands, because, like, people are gonna get sick, and there's gonna be times where, you know, like, it's hard to write stories like that. And so I'm just, like, hoping, you know, like, they take the time they need to, like, you know, take enough breaks, and if, like, they are chronically ill, to, like, you know, understand that, like, your health does come first. Like, if you are unable, if sitting on a desk talking for an hour on RP makes you feel sick, then probably don't do it. Or if you do it, tell everyone that you're not going to be able to do it for, like, you know, another week.
Very long period.
But, like, I guess some people don't understand. Like, I mean, if you're really, really young, like 15 to, like, you know, 16, 17, like, if you're younger, like, way younger than that, like, you probably don't have a lot of experience being sick unless, like, I mean, I do, but that's for different reasons. Like, you can't really put it in perspective how much work goes into, like, making something, especially now that it seems like they are tying all of the lore together and they're getting way more in depth. That shit takes so much effort. There is so much research, and, like, you have to, like, field so many issues, and you have to make sure that it comes across properly. Like, they've moved on from, like, haha, Hamilton roleplay, let's go, like, you know, let's ban people. Like, they've moved on to, like, real shit. Like, and they're still learning, and it is, like, you know, that's a steep-ass curve to climb, especially adding new people, like, because then you gotta retcon old lore and make new lore, and you gotta make sure, like, it kind of makes sense, and, like, it works with Minecraft, and it's just, like, I want Quackity to make another Lost Nevada stream, but at the same time, that shit looked, that was so impressive.
That looked like it took
oh my
forever.
god, I was like, that looked like it took, like, he was, like, the fact he churned two of them out back to back like that, even, like, I think it was like a month between, I was like, what the hell? That was, like, genuinely, like, very well done. I was like, my god.
Yeah.
So, like, we're getting into the part of, like, it's gone from the fanfic that updates every week, or every, like, few days, or even every day, to, like, the fanfic that updates, like, every few months.
I mean, hopefully we will be getting more stuff
Yeah.
soon, especially as we go into winter. Although, I do feel like, specifically Tommy is probably not going to be doing as much content.
Yeah.
Because I'm the same age as him.
Oh, yeah.
I know that he is doing the equivalent of the year that I am doing, but, like, the British version.
Yeah, oof.
I know how tired I am this year from having to do schoolwork. I have a week of exams next week.
That is fucking
I had to
rough.
spend hours on a project over my midterm break. It is very tiring,
Yeah.
but you have to put the work in because the exams at the end of the year are super important if you want to go
Yeah.
to university. And I know that Tommy has talked, writer Tommy obviously, has talked about, like, he plans to go to university. So obviously he's putting the work in, so my prediction is we're probably going to see a bit less content from him this year, especially as we get into 2022.
Amen.
But he's just not going to have
Best
the time.
wishes to him and anybody else doing
Videos
exams.
are probably going to be a bit easier because you can do them, like,
Yeah.
bit by bit. But we're probably going to see less streams from him,
Yeah.
aside from, like,
And
MCC
that's, like,
and
totally
stuff.
fine. Like, I know people really, like, yeah, no, I'm cool with all the breaks between, like, I'm cool with, like, mini, like having, like, the mini lore streams, the shorter stuff, because, like, I can't handle, like, the big stuff back to back. Like, oh my god, it was so hard to keep up. At one point, I was like, okay, I was like, can we pull it back a little bit? I was like, this is too much fucking content. My god, people are making art, like, during the streams. I was like, what the hell is going on? How can you even, like, draw a picture fully rendered during the fucking stream when it's not even over yet? What the hell is going on? I was like,
I do know that a lot of people will draw, like, and have, like, streams on as
Yeah.
background noise, but I'm not sure how you can, like, focus on a stream enough for, like, watching lore and stuff
they were, like,
while
drawing
drawing.
the lore from the stream. I was like, what the hell? That shit had me baffled. Like, it was insane. People were writing fics and uploading them before the streams would end. Like, Doomsday literally had, like, I think a couple fanfics actually uploaded as it was still happening. And I was like, you people are, God works fast, but the Minecraft YouTube fandom works faster. My god, I don't know. What is it, like the devil works fast? I don't know. Whatever the saying is, it's true. It's so true. And it's become at this point that, like, they're having to wait longer and longer time, so they're, like, scrambling for content. And I'm like, guys, come on. The majority of us cannot handle that much shit at once. It's too much. I'm too old for this shit. Not to be like, I'm like Rambu now. Like, I'm a fossil, okay?
Hello, and welcome back to another Mellohi Spotlight. If you don't know, this Spotlight section is where we shout out a content creator in the Minecraft YouTuber and DSMP fandoms to let you wonderful viewers discover new and amazing people. We know that a big part of what makes our fandom so incredible is how many talented people we have creating amazing content in it. This week's Spotlight is for a wonderful fan artist, Moonette. Moonette is a big-time Carl artist who posts a lot of really cute and epic art, usually featured around Carl, on their Twitter page. Moonette does art of both the Dream SMP characters and their content creators, and in particular, their Tales from the SMP art around Carl, the other side, and the in-between is really, really beautiful and intriguing. Moon has personified both of the realms into two very beautiful character designs and managed to capture both the unsettling nature and beauty of the realms. Moons also does a lot of art for the fiancés and just Carl's overall friend group, and also has an alt that has a lot of George-focused art, if that's more of your thing. You can go and check out Moon's art at Moonette and Galt, that's spelled MOONETTE and GALT on Twitter. Before we get back to the episode, if you have any content creators that you think deserve the spotlight, make sure to let us know by either dropping a comment below one of our YouTube videos or through our Twitter page. The more amazing content creators you share with us, the more amazing content creators we can share with everyone else. Catch you all next time. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Bye!
Can't handle that shit. I don't know. I'm just, the direction it's going, I really do want them to, like, take it, like, I want them to learn from, like, the past. Not to, like, bring this, you know, randomly back to, like, you know, Hannah and Sam lore, but, like, I want them to learn from, like, what didn't work in the, like, you know, the older streams and, like, what did. And, like, moving away from angst is fine. Like, you can actually have, like, this sort of, like, element of like, yeah, things are pretty, like, shit in the DSMP world, and, you know, there's a general angst cloud hanging over everyone, but you can also have, like, moments of, like, where you see characters, like, actually form relationships.
Do you know what my hope is for future lore? My hope is that, like, over, like, the last however many months, people have thought up plans, and hopefully actually soon start actually trying to tell each other those plans and work together.
Oh, for sure.
And once they get a chance, they can actually do cool stuff, but they've already got, like, plans that they can, you know,
I mean, it's already promising that we're seeing people who were saying things like, nobody talks to me about lore anymore, actually showing up in, like, lore. Like, like, that's a good sign. I am genuinely glad. So I think they're actually, like, taking it to a better direction. It seems like communication is coming back. Not to, like, I mean, I'm not a part of their RP, like, it's not my, like, yeah, I'm not responsible for their, like, behavior, how they communicate, like, whatever, but, like, communication is key, and I really do hope, you know, like, this means that, like, they are talking, you know, and they're sharing cool lore, and, like, the more you, like, collaborate with somebody, like, in something like that, like, the more you can have, like, the wildest shit happen, but it, like, will come across as cool, like, that one moment where it's all of them planning before the red banquet. It, like, that felt very organized. Like, it was, like, Foolish, Puffy, Hannah, Sam, and they all went up to that, like, glass, little platform, and they talked about, like, what they were gonna do at the banquet, because they knew it was a trap. And, like, that just, and, like, they had to, like, Sam at least had to know that Hannah was a traitor, right? Like, already, like, in, like, someone had to know that she was gonna betray, like, it was already communicated, like, you could tell, like, that was what was, like, going to happen almost, because, like, they had, like, foreshadowed it so much, and then when it happened at the banquet, like, that was the part where you were like, holy shit, yeah, no, Hannah is the fucking traitor. And that's the thing where I'm like, I hope they, like, bring more of that in, like, even though some things can come across as, like, really anticlimactic, it's like, you can make some really cool moments of, like, you can make those moments where, like, people are supposed to be surprised, like, you can make them work. Like, you don't have to surprise your fellow RP, like, what would you call each other, like, you don't
make something surprising.
You don't have to, like, you don't have to do that. Like, people can, like, act surprised or shocked or pissed off. Also, like, it's easy to act pissed off if you genuinely feel like, as your character, that, like, what somebody did is crossing a fucking line. Like, you can sit there and start going off, and, like, it will be genuine as hell, because, like, even though you knew, like, you know, like, you're, like, let's say, like, your character, like, you know, Sam, and you know character Hannah is gonna betray you, like, you can sit there and sound pissed off, because, like, you are, like, embodying the character at that point, like, you know, the character is possessing you in that moment. It is possible. Like, you don't have to do this thing where you're like, well, I am the secret big writer, and only I can know the super secret, like, surprise plot. Like, it just stops working at some point. Like,
it does.
So we'll see, because I know, like, Wilbur is also writing, and I think that his tendency to do that is pretty high. I don't know. Judging from some of the things that happened, I was like...
I mean, like, so, to bring about the topic of communication, recently on Tumblr, Eric answered a question about what doing and writing lore on the DSMP or the Discord looks like. And it's really... And they've mentioned that it's just, like, if it's, like, a bunch of people, well, a group of people get together to do lore outside of the Discord call, so no one knows anything that's going on. It's difficult to approach them, or sometimes ideas will be proposed, but they'll be ignored. And, or because someone's not part of the writing process, they're not gonna, they're all the stuff they planned out is just pushed to the side.
They should discuss their lore on the actual server when anyone can see it, but also I guess something that might help is like really just have votes. Someone says, hey, I have an idea that sounds cool, and people can like just react with like thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah, like, I mean,
if it gets a bunch of thumbs up, good idea, lots of people like it, they think it'll be a cool idea, or they see that it could create a cool opportunity for their own character, and they're like, yeah, that sounds fun.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's their SMP, so it's like, you know, like, yeah.
Like, just make a lore planning channel, make a lore ideas channel. That is like what I'm asking.
I think they have one, because I think Eric
make
said
an idea.
Eric was like,
where people can just put in ideas of things that they think could be cool
Yeah.
to do, so that they're there and they don't get like
Buried.
ignored because people are talking under them. You know how stuff can
Yeah,
get buried in a
yeah.
Discord server.
Yeah.
A lot of people are
Yeah.
talking.
Like they should have like more channels for all the different lore
Like have
stuff.
it so like if somebody says
But
I want to go stream
not
on the
my
SMP,
SMP.
maybe do some lore. They can look at the lore ideas channel and say, hey, this person wants to do lore about like this. That sounds fun. I want my character to be involved with it. I'll go and like at them in the lore planning channel, and we'll talk about what we might do.
They're like, it's not. We're not the writers of the SMPs. It's not our SMP either. And like this sort of stuff just comes with experience, right?
yeah.
And obviously they're not the most experienced at like organizing a giant RP like this.
I mean,
So it's
most people are.
Yeah, I
Most
mean,
people
given your
are.
experience,
So,
that's gonna be
yeah.
difficult.
Scrambled.
Like if you look at other popular like roleplay series, specifically, you look at like D&D stuff. Like first of all, you've got the DM who manages a lot of the planning as like the person you plan
Yeah.
through.
Yep.
But also there's often a lot smaller sizes, even larger ones like Critical Role.
Oh yeah.
Like how many people? I actually don't watch Critical Role. How many people are in that?
So I think there are 8 players and 1 DM, and that is insane because
Mhm.
normally in a D&D campaign it's 4,
Yeah, that's
3 to
like
5.
8's a lot. Holy
So-
shit.
It's a lot. So, but like those guys, they've been playing D&D for years.
they're-
They have the experience.
Also, like, they're like, you know, they're voice
These-
actors.
these are
Like, they went to
Minecraft
school
YouTubers.
for like different things. Like,
To be fair, some of them have played D&D, like Foolish has played D&D before. I think he said it when he joined
Yeah.
the server. And you can definitely see that coming through in how he writes his character. In, like, he has an established backstory for his character, which is not something that many
yeah.
other people on SMP have.
Yeah.
And he seems to have a deliberate idea of where he wants his character to go.
Yep.
Because he started off with this whole pacifism thing, and obviously then he kind of started going against that because of working with Quackery, and you can tell that you can kind of like predict his character arc to a certain degree because you can tell what he's going for and what type of character he's going for.
Yeah. You're asking a bunch of Minecraft YouTubers who probably not played D&D to be super organized and super whatever, and it's like at one point, like, yeah, that's stuff they probably should start working on, but at the same time, they're all very busy people.
I mean, at least we've heard of like they're having like lore meetings and stuff now, so hopefully that will help.
Giant lore documents.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just
They seem to be working on improving communication.
yeah,
Definitely.
they're definitely working on it. But it's like this stuff has happened before in the past. It's probably going to happen again. And there's not really much we can do about it. There's not really much one person can do about it either. So it's like, I honestly think Eric is super awesome for answering that ask because it's something a lot of people have been wondering about. But at the same time, it's not on them to fix everything that's wrong with the current TSMP lore server.
yeah, I mean, for what they're doing, like, they're doing an excellent ass job. So, I mean, like, it's novel, you know? I mean, things that are novel are hard to do, right? Like, nobody sat down and was like, I'm gonna stream, like, lore on Twitch. Twitch was for, like, playing video games and giving, like, live, like, I don't know, performances and shit. Like, it was never, like, and people did do story stuff on it, but, like, it was never really, like, designed for, like, people to log on to Minecraft and play, like, out an entire soap opera epic.
That's one of the issues that people have had with, like, having to archive VODs and stuff if they're not being saved.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you can literally lose parts
All
of
of
the story.
Tubbo's VODs just gone. The early ones, gone, bro. That is actually,
just
that
gone.
sucks, because Tubbo's point of view is really interesting.
I think Finding Joy actually did a thing where they spliced together clips and stuff from other people's VODs. I think Eric's the Manberg War VOD, I think it was.
Yeah. But
Although I might be thinking of something else.
no, it was Irid's VOD, Irid's Pope that got spliced together by Joy, who went ahead and just went and looked for all the clips and just put them together, and like it took forever, but they did it, and they're probably not going to do it because of just how much work it took to do that.
Yeah.
But it's like
The fact that Twitch takes
when we
down
say
the
Twitch is
VODs,
not meant
bro.
for that's what we mean by Twitch was not a place meant for.
And there was a thing, you know, what happened when Sam did the whole cutting Punk's arm off thing?
Oh, like, dude, it cut out the audio.
There was like copyrighted music played sometime during the stream, so it was muted in the VOD.
DMCA'd.
So you have to go to YouTube and find a saved version of it that doesn't have the muted.
Yeah, that sucked.
Like I remember, like I was not able to watch that live. Like I was free like right as that ended, so I went back to watch it and it was muted, and I had to go to YouTube and find a version with sound because like a ton of the conversation that they were having just got muted.
It was important what they were talking about, and then like freaking Twitch was like, no, DMCA, and I'm like, bro, like not. I cannot handle Twitch as a platform, bro. The fact they can't keep VODs up, bro. I know they're making mad fucking bank. You're owned by Amazon. Do you mean you can't keep VODs up? What the hell?
You get 50% of each sub that goes to
You
a
can pay
streamer.
for that server storage space. Get the out. I literally can't. Like, and then it's like, you know, it kind of does add to like the revisionist history of like the entire DSMP, right? Because like now you got people who like have never seen the part where Sam and Punk like talk in the beginning, which is like, from what I can briefly remember, has a lot of like scary shit from Sam's side. I mean, he's like actually terrifying. I was like, okay. I was like, damn, bro. But like then you got like people who've never seen that, so they're just like, oh well, you know, like Sam isn't that bad. I'm like, well, okay, if you didn't take the part where he throws him in the he puts it like he's in the glass cage and like Punk's getting like killed over and over again. I was like, I don't know how you didn't correlate like that's also really fucking bad, but shit, you know.
It's just
it was really frustrating because like I've said this before and I'll say it again, but I am a big fan of Sam's character. I like how morally grey he is. And I am very annoyed when people try to flatten him to, and as I am with any character, when people try to flatten him into either like good guy or evil. No, this is a morally grey character in a story that is all about morally grey characters.
I mean, he's just a banger character. Like...
Okay? Yes, he does war crimes. Yes, I feel sad for him. This is how it works. This is how I feel about like 50% of DSMP characters.
He's just a good character. I mean,
there was a moment where Twitch, people have begun to upload like the VODs onto archive.
Yeah, the Finding Joy has like a big old archive like that they're helping run.
Yeah, so if you're interested and you have the time, do check that out. Look it up on Finding Joy and Weird Stuff is the username on Tumblr.
Yeah.
And check that out if you're interested in saving VODs, like just basically like downloading them, helping to preserve them.
They've got a whole Discord server dedicated to saving these VODs.
So yeah, if you've got the time, if you've got the computer storage to do it, and you're interested, do check that out.
Yeah. But recently, I remember, like, not recently, but a while back, I remember seeing on Finding Joy's Dash, or, like, message, what they posted. They posted something about how Twitch was going around taking down those VODs that were on archive.
Oh, wait, really? I didn't see that.
Yeah. That was a thing that apparently happened. I don't know what's
I've
going
only
on
heard
now.
about the ones on YouTube being taken
I'm gonna
down.
say it. God, I can't stand these. Why? Why did they do that? Like, oh my god. Whatever.
It's the same thing as like Nintendo, another game company, is refusing to let people play games that they don't even sell anymore.
That shit.
Like, you're not making profit off it, dude.
That's corporations.
There's no reason to take it down if it's being offered for free.
I don't know. They're just...
You're not making profit. The person
property.
doing it isn't making profit. No one's making profit here. you're spending your own money to go and like sue this person for providing old video games that you don't provide, that you don't sell anymore.
I'm sure someone out there has an argument for why, they do it, but at the end of the day, it's like, these companies are like, they can do whatever they want.
It might be like an intellectual property thing.
They can do,
Or we might release it at some point 20 years into the future, so better make sure it's safe.
I'm gonna put out Mario 64 again, but it's gonna be called Mario 44. And it's gonna have similar graphics. Low poly is the new high poly. Let's go. Like, I don't know. People are... Not people, but corporations. Like, it's a whole thing. Yeah. But... I don't know. Hey, that's one of the interesting parts about DSMP though, is how it, like, technically it has a corporation tied to it because Twitch is the platform which it mostly goes on, and YouTube. But, like, at the end of the day, it's not like a bunch of corporations got together and were like, let's fund this film called the DSMP. It was like, these people just got together, like, not even really with any profit incentive.
And, like, honestly, like, if they wanted to do anything...
Yeah.
About it would be really difficult because so many people are involved.
Yeah, like, it's almost like a sort of, like, it's not really a fuck you to, like, like the way that modern, like, shows and films work, but it's almost like what if we just made something new instead? And, like, yeah, sure, we're running ads on our Twitch channel, but it's not like, there's no Dream SMP brand that can be, like, mass sold and, like, reproduced. Like, it's just kind of cool like that. I mean, I've heard, like, U2's is fucking trying, apparently. But U2's can literally, like, sorry, all opinions here are my own, but U2's can literally die. I don't care. Like, U2's, stop, please. Like, you make bad corporations look bad. Like, good. Fucking, Jesus. I mean, I don't know. They're really trying to, like, get on, like, let's sell Wilbur with the Lamembry flag behind him and fuck the whole design up and barely pay the artist. Get out of here. U2's, just leave. So I'm hoping U2's just gives up or loses its lawsuit. I don't fucking know. I'm tired of seeing them.
One thing that I'm hoping that a lot of, one company that I'm hoping that Dream SMP creators might start using instead for merchandise is the one that a lot of Hermitcraft people use.
Yeah.
What's the one? Let me look it up. Give me 1 second.
You're good. I just see, like, every time, like, YouTube does something new, I'm like, God, they're really trying to tie their brand into, like, to freaking Dream SMP, and I'm like, they better stop. I mean, they're making mad money.
Oh, Makeshift.
Oh, what is it?
Pearlescent Moon just released plush with them. And as far as I know, they don't have issues like YouTube's does. I'm just gonna post a link.
I mean, I hope they, like, give their artists.
You're not gonna get to see the link.
Hey, whatever.
Maybe when I make the Twitter post, I'll stick that down at the bottom. Or it's called, the company is called Makeshift. I found it by just looking up Pearlescent Moon plushie. Yeah. So you should be able to find it the same way.
It's true podcast fashion of being like, I sent a link in Discord, and then everyone who's watching it's like, what the hell are you talking about? It's, yeah, I mean, these companies really just...
a bunch of Hermitcraft people have worked with them. As far as I know, they don't have... I haven't heard of them having any issues like YouTube does.
I'm just hoping that as things go on...
So it would be good if some Dream SMP creators start working with them instead.
Yeah, probably be... Because, like, I mean, I know, like, they're trying to, like, make whatever money they're gonna make. I don't know, like... And merch gets them a lot of money. Ads get you a lot of money, but merch gets you money. And...
You know what? Ron Boo has mentioned recently that apparently he's not comfortable working with YouTubers anymore because he's heard about them and their plagiarism. Yeah. So it might actually be worth it to try maybe like make a post on Twitter and try and get people to like retweet it and stuff so he sees
I think naturally,
talking about it because he's fairly popular. So if he goes with them instead for future merchandise, that might encourage more people in the same kind of group to go with them.
Yeah.
So that's maybe something to try.
My merch opinions are very, like, I don't know. I personally, like, I'm weird. I'd rather go to the Etsy and buy something, like, from some random fan than, like, the merch, because I'm literally, my head's scrambled. But,
I mean, the thing about stuff like that is that a percentage of it does go to the creators, so it is supporting them.
Yeah. I just see how many subs and donos they get, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need to, like, I don't, you know, this person's really hurting for groceries. Like, you know, if I have the money, I can, like, buy, you know, little Etsy charm and, you know, get a cute little, like, you know, Lemmenberg flag. I don't know. I mean, I don't actually have a Lemmenberg flag, but you know what I mean. Like, that's just my opinion. No one is wrong for, like, you know.
I do not have a job. I do not have money.
Yeah. The boat I'm in right now, but,
I have to debate in my head if I want to get a chocolate muffin from the school canteen that's €2, so I do not buy things, essentially.
That's like...
Yeah, I know. They recently changed it.
What?
Like, it used to, like, when I started, right, first year it was like €1, right? And then they bring it up to €1.50, and I'm like, okay, that's still kind of reasonable. They're pretty big muffins, they taste nice. And then they get a new catering company, and they're selling everything for like €2, and it's way too expensive.
I don't know. Oof.
Like, what do you think we are, made of money? Like, we're secondary school students. We get, like, max €10 a week.
Yeah. My God. That is rough.
I don't even get that. I get, like, €30
there was
a month, and I had to, like, negotiate for that.
Yeah, fuck, dude. That is...
That's rough.
Like, what do they expect me to do? Get a job? I have exams to do. I have study to do.
You gotta have to work, like, night shifts and die. Or, which you should never have to do, because you will end up getting sick as hell. Or, you know, take out, you have to basically just get in debt. But, shit. So, okay, I feel that one post, still talking about Mercury SMP, but somebody spent, it was like, they had like 1,000, like, it showed $1,000 they'd spent at, like, one of the shops. And it was funny, because, like, I think it was in pesos. And
was that the
yeah, and it was shop? I'm pretty sure it was in pesos, and so like everybody was like, well, how the fuck did you spend $1,300? And the person was like, no, it's not in, like, you know, like US American, like, currency. I was like, that's funny.
It was like Brazilian dollars or something,
like,
and it was actually like 100.
There are people though who have spent
like
that much money though, and I know they are because I see them reselling it on eBay, and I'm like, bro, shit. Not to be like, that's advanced, but wow. Like, if you're buying up Rambo plushies to resell as a third-party seller on Walmart's website,
wasn't there some drama where, like, Walmart or something was selling Rambo plushies?
It was a third-party seller selling I looked it up because people were like, Walmart selling it, and I'm like, no, it's a third-party seller. And they basically what they did is they just bought up all the Rambo plushies they could, and they're reselling them, which people do all the fucking time. And it's like, it's so annoying because I'm like, people do it at like every single store on the planet, and I'm like, I hate that.
Yeah, like, for instance, like, football matches. People do it for that as well.
God.
And, like, they've tried to, like put in measures to try and, like, do that less. Yeah, like, they set up things where you can, if you can't go to the match, you can give your ticket, sell your ticket on their website to someone else. But it has to be for, like, the price you bought it at, so it's basically a refund.
Oh, okay. I mean, that keeps it from being like, here's $1,000 for your, like, you know, $1,000 football ticket.
Yeah. Yeah. I have issues with getting scammed.
I just know about this because I hear about this because I've got family who's really into football.
It just makes me think about, like, how if they had, like, a Dream SMP live show. I don't know. That probably will never happen. But I just had, like, the thought of, like, if they actually had, like, a live show where it was, like, a majority of them up on a stage and they sold tickets for it. I know somebody would fucking buy all the tickets and resell them for the most insane prices. I'm just like, ooh.
But, like, imagine if that actually happened, and actually we are running low on time, so
sorry.
You know that meme that's like somebody says something and the crowd boos, and then a person who was like actual authority on the subject speaks up? I feel like that would happen.
God. Yeah, it would be like
someone would be like, character Dream is 100% evil, and everyone would be like, yeah, they're right, and then Dream sitting up there is like, you guys like, I know you're wrong.
He just simply says evil.
No, it's the opposite. Character Dream has depth. Everybody boos at them. You walk off the stage. But there in the back, it's like, no, you're right, and it's content creator dream.
Stream himself. Oh man, I don't know. That would be kind of funny.
And then the reverse version is somebody saying, I don't know, character Wilbur is
The perfect brother for Tommy.
this great person who has only ever helped people. And then Wilbur is like, they're like, I did not put all that effort into making a morally complex, morally grey character for you to go and say that.
He's just, he'd be upset. He'd be crying.
Bitch, what are you on about?
He'd be like, that's just horrible. Nah, I don't know.
Why do I feel like writer Wilbur would be annoyed that his character Dream who gets called a whore by fans and not his own
I
character?
think it's the energy he gives off. Also, oh my god, that again, I'm just thinking about a live show, and now I'm like, people would like, if anything happened, they would be like, it would be the Twitch chat, but they're just shouting it. So like, if somebody did something, they would just all shout horror. Oh my god, no. I just thought about all that shit.
No, they should not do a live show. God.
That would be so.
Oh my
it's
god. Horrible enough.
Well,
It would be super
we will leave you now
character.
with that. We'll leave you now with that cursed
cursed
idea of a Dream SMP
Oh, yeah,
live
yeah.
show, because
It's
that
too
is
cursed.
our time. Goodbye.
See ya.
Well, thanks for listening to the 26th episode of Mellohi, and we hope you enjoyed it. If there's any topic you'd like to hear us discuss, feel free to leave a comment or find us on Twitter at Mellohi Podcast, where you can also ask us questions or just get updates about new episodes. We also have a Discord server you can find a link to in the description. See you next time!